So my dad just brought me lunch. It is pho left over from, I don't know if they made it or this broccoli, I don't know, kind of makes me feel like maybe they made it, but that'd be kind of impressive if they made pho. Anyways, I was going to explain last night and kind of how I ended up in quarantine. I'm gonna call this my quarantine pod where I live. I will make another video, do like a tour of my quarantine pod, but I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I don't know why I'm vlogging, but you know what? I feel like it. I actually already mentioned it to some of my friends, so now I have to follow through because they're expecting it. But kind of like I get to pretend I'm talking to people. So I'm gonna just eat and tell a story of yesterday because I decided to vlog today. Today's day 2. Yesterday was like day 1, but I didn't go into quarantine until like 4:30, I guess, technically. So I was with my mom and Nana. They were visiting me at school, and my friend called me, and she was like, hey, like, I tested positive. I knew she had been experiencing some symptoms. We thought they were allergies because she always gets allergies this time of year, and her dad is a physician's assistant, and he also figured they were allergies, but he drove up to DBU to test her. And we're like, you're positive. So she was driving home. I think, yeah, she was driving home already. And we were eating lunch. So over lunch, we just like figured out what we needed to do. At first, we weren't sure if I needed to quarantine. Like, the school has they have this form that we fill out before we can go to class. And I guess one of the questions on there is not that great. It says like if you've been in contact and like if you've had direct exposure with someone who like had symptoms, or with someone who, or like within 48 hours with someone who got a positive test within 48 hours later. Does that make sense? But really, it should be if you have been in contact with somebody, if you've had direct exposure to somebody within 48 hours of when their symptoms started. So at first, I was like not on the list of contacts, but I have an uncle who is a doctor, and we called him and kind of like explained like how our interactions were, which, by the way, I interacted with this friend of mine quite a bit. And I do not regret it. Basically, at the beginning of the year, we were like, look, we're each other's best friend, like, on campus. So we're just gonna say we're on each other's close contact list, and that's okay. So here we are. But anyways, I talked to my uncle about it, and he was like, yeah, you should go home. And I'm glad that he did, because if not, then I wouldn't have been sent home until the nurse called me at 6:30, and at 6:30 it was already dark. So that would have been a lot of driving at night, which I don't particularly like to do, like on the highway. So anyways. Bye. That's a whole story in and of itself. But anyways, what am I trying to say? So I drove home, and we got home, and I talked to the nurse lady, and she was like, this is in the middle of Thanksgiving break, but if for whatever reason you wanted to, you're allowed to come back on campus on, like, assuming you don't have symptoms, on the 27th. I was like, great, thanks. And I filled out the form they wanted me to fill out, and then I had, stuff to do, and I mean, it wasn't a super productive night because I was sad. So for like the first 4 hours of like the whole, or I guess like the first 5 hours of this whole like timeline, I like really was fine. I was like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm gonna go in quarantine, I'm gonna get my stuff done, and then I'll be out before finals, so that's nice. And my family's supposed to go camping for Thanksgiving, and I was kind of like, I can like camp and quarantine at the same time, like, no biggie. But I got here and I was like, can I camp in quarantine? I don't know about that. I might have to spend my entire Thanksgiving break in this room. I don't want to do that because I would be alone and it would be sad. And also, so I'm just gonna describe like the way I felt. Just because I felt this doesn't mean it was true. But when I first got here, I felt like everybody was like afraid to talk to me. I was talking to my friend, and I said I feel like a ghost. I guess it's kind of like a blind ghost, but like, because I could hear everything that was going on in the house, and but like everybody was like pretending, or like not really pretending, but like it was like everybody was like afraid to acknowledge me, or like acknowledge that I was actually here. And some people didn't even like say hi to me when I got here, and I just came home from college, so some of them haven't seen me for a while. So that was not something that I was really expecting to have a problem with, because like I wouldn't have seen them yesterday if I didn't have to quarantine. But it's just like, I guess I don't think of myself as somebody that has issues with like the fear of missing out, but I don't know, just like when you can hear everyone, but you have to like stay away. It's kind of sad. But the reality is, like, they have all gone out of their way to give me the space that I need, and like this is like a pretty nice place to be quarantined in. And later everybody started like talking to me, so it was not that big of a deal. At first I was really like upset, but some people started texting me, and Nelson, my brother, came and talked to me for like an hour. He just like sat outside my door and talked to me. I was supposed to be doing homework, but I appreciated it, so I just kept talking to him. My mom talked to me for a little bit too, which she, you know, was with me when I found out that I had to go in quarantine, so that makes her like person C. So she's like being careful right now. She's walking around our house with a mask, and she has like her own like room. So it's like she's like kind of in quarantine. But like according to like the school, she's a teacher. According to the school's like rules, she doesn't have to go into quarantine right now. So she's able to go to work, and she wants to keep it that way. And she doesn't want to get anybody else sick or like put anybody else in quarantine if she does have to go in quarantine, which would happen if I end up having symptoms within like 48 hours. So I guess I will also try to give like updates on, I totally forgot I was eating, on, I'm not very good at multitasking. My like symptoms. I'm not symptomatic right now. Here's my thermometer. I'm probably gonna take my temperature at least twice a day, just because I know that I normally have like a lower temperature in the morning and then it gets higher during the day. Like when I was a kid, whenever I got sick, I would end up going to school in the morning because I didn't have a fever. Like my temperature wasn't above 100. It might be like 99 or something. And then during the day, I would get sent home because I had a fever. Like I've had allergies for a really long time, starting in like August. In August, I started getting congested, and then in like September, I started waking up with like a sore throat, and then it would go away in like 2 or 3 hours. And that was happening for literally like 3 months. This morning, actually, my throat was like didn't bother me as much as it normally does. So that was interesting. I like want to keep taking my temperature because like, I guess I'm just like, I don't know, I'm probably like kind of paranoid, but my body like feels warm, but like I'm not like cold. Like normally when you have a fever, it's like you're like hot to the touch, but you feel cold and you're like you know that you're warm, but like you need more blankets and stuff. I was wearing like a sweatshirt and I took it off to see if I got cold, and I'm not cold. I'm like comfortable, but like it kind of feels like warm around my eyes. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes when you have a fever, it's like hot around your eyes and stuff. So I don't know, it's interesting. To me, anyways, maybe it's not interesting to you. I think that's all I have to say for now. Yep. I'll probably just like film random things and then also do some like discussion stuff. I'm not like a YouTuber or anything, but I guess I also always kind of thought it'd be fun to like make a video. And I like to talk, and I'm sitting here by myself, so why not?